Hi, I'm Rachel Donegan. I am the Howe Library's Emerging Technologies Librarian, and I am here to show you how to make something every week. This is Howe Makers. Hi, and welcome back to Howe Makers. Today we are looking at the microbit. I have it right here. This is the microbit. It's a tiny computer that's really good at doing one thing at a time, and we are going to tell it what that thing is by programming it with a programming language called Makecode. And if you've played with Scratch before, it's very much like Scratch. It's a block-based programming language, nice and easy to get started with. You can also program with Python. So that's the front of the board. You can see there's an LED array. You can do icons on this. And there are some buttons here as well that you can push. And there are some places where you can add on more components here. And the back of the board is here. It looks just like a circuit board. There's a processor. It has an accelerometer, so it knows when it's moving. It has a compass. And you can also, which is really cool, right up here is a battery pack port here. So we're going to program it with the computer. It's going to get its power from the computer as well. But after we load a program onto it, we can disconnect it from the computer, and it can be battery operated with 2 AA batteries. So we can actually do a project that doesn't have to be attached to a computer. So here we are with the MacBook Air. I have plugged in my microbit, and you can see it right here. You can also see it over here. So it kind of looks like a USB drive when you plug it in. We're not going to worry about that right now, though. We have to go put a program on here. So I'm going to open up a web browser. I'm going to search microbit.org. I'm going to ignore this little window right here. So here you can learn more about the microbit here and get started. You can learn about some projects. We're going to go right to Let's Code. And you have a couple different options here for which editor you'd like to use, which programming language you'd like to use. We are going to use Makecode. So I'm going to click on that. And we're going to go down here to New Project. So over here on the right, you can see it gets you started with some blocks here. And this is your menu for different blocks. So if I click on Basic, I get all of these. I can scroll down more basic ones. Inputs we're going to use those when we go to use our buttons, things like that. And then you can go into loops and variables down here, and you can change your LED display here. Over here, I'm just going to close that out. Over here we have a virtual microbit. So this will allow you to see everything that you do over here on the right, even if you don't have a microbit plugged in, which is kind of nice. You can test your code and make sure it works without having to download your program onto your microbit until it's exactly the way you like it. So we're going to start off with a really simple program here. We're going to start with the on-start block, which means when you turn your microbit on, when you plug it in or attach a battery pack, this automatically happens. This one I don't actually need right now, so I'm going to dump that back into there, and that's a way to get rid of blocks. I'm going to go up here to Basic, and I'm going to pull out this Show Icon block. So I'm going to click and drag and just put it right inside there. Now, this is already a program, which is great. I can go over here and hit play on my virtual microbit. Oh, it did it on its own. There we go, right before I clicked on it. So that is what we see. We put in the show icon heart, and we see a heart. We can also go in here and change this icon to a smiley face. And it should load automatically, but if it doesn't, we can hit this little play button right here. There we go. Now we have a smiley face on our microbit. So to download this to the microbit, what you need to do is go over here. Here you can, where it says Untitled, you can change the name to it. So I'm just going to call this one Smiley Face. This is a really simple program, but that's all right. And we're going to hit Download. Okay, and it's going to say Download to your microbit. And I'm going to save it. And it's going to go down here into my Downloads folder. And now I can just X out of this. And I can minimize. Actually, I'm just going to slide this over a little bit because I need to get back here to where this sort of drive icon is. And what I'm going to do is open my downloads. I'm going to find that file, which is this one. I can see it says face on the bottom, smiley face. I'm going to pick that out of there and I'm going to drag it right over microbit, boop, like that. And what's happening now, you can't see it, but the yellow light on the microbit is flashing like crazy. Okay, so that was a nice, simple, quick program to get the hang of how this works. We're going to do another program that uses the buttons on the microbit, and you can see them on the virtual microbit over here. This one's labeled A, this one is labeled B. So we can program it so that it responds to button pushes. And I thought it'd be fun to make a thing that you can tell people what your mood is without having to say anything. Because we have the smiley face icons and we have the frowny face icons. So let's try that. We're gonna click on input and we're gonna choose one of these. And we're actually gonna take two of these because we have two buttons. So there we go. So you can see this one is grayed out because they both are A and we can't have two things happening to button A at the same time. So we're gonna change this one to B. And back here on start, it says smiley. I'm gonna change that to the heart. So when we start up the microbit, it's gonna show a heart. And then on button A pressed, I thought we would do we'll do a happy face for button A, and then we'll do a sad face for button B. So let's go over here to the, okay, there we go. So when we start it, we have a heart. Now we're going to press button A and we get a smiley face just like we programmed. And now we're going to go over to B. We should get a frowny face, and we do. Perfect.
Well, that was pretty cool. So we were able to use the buttons on the microbit to show people what our mood was without saying a word. But you know what? To me, I didn't like that when I pushed the button, it just stayed happy, right? Until I tell it something else. So I thought it might be nice if we make it go back to the heart icon after a couple seconds. So that you push the button, it has a smiley face, and then it shows that for a couple seconds, then it goes back to the heart. So let's think about, maybe you can think about how you would do that without me telling you first. What blocks could we add to change our program just a little bit?
So I'm going to add a few more blocks here so that after I push the button, it stays either a smiley face or a frowny face for a couple seconds, and then it goes back to the heart. So it sort of defaults to the heart, but then when you push a button, it shows something else for a couple seconds. So for that, I need a couple pause blocks, which are down here. So I'm going to pull one out to here. And oops, now my programs are kind of on top of each other, so I'm going to just drag them around to give them more room. So I'm going to pause. This is 100 milliseconds, which is not very long. So I'm going to make it go for 2 seconds. Yeah, 500 milliseconds is half of a second. So 100 is a tenth of a second. So we're going to do 2 seconds, and then we are going to go back to showing the heart. So let's drag that block out again, like that. And we're going to do the same thing here. Okay, that looks right. So on start, it's going to show the heart. And then when we push button A, it's going to show the smiley face for 2 seconds, and then it's going to go back to the heart. If we press B, it's going to show the frowny face, and then it's going to pause for 2 seconds and then go back to the heart. So let's go over here and see if it's working. So we do see the heart on startup here. Press A, we get our smiley face, and then it goes back to the heart. So we press B, frowny face, back to the heart. Nice. I'm very happy with that program. So to download it, I will go over here to where it says smiley face, and I'm going to say my mood. That's how we're going to save it, and then we're going to download it.
So the microbit will be available for pickup at the Howe Library once we start curbside pickup. So check our website for the details on how to do that. Pick up your own microbit kit and take it home. Try something, do something really cool, invent something amazing, and share with us on social media using hashtag Howe Makers. Can't wait to see what you make. See you next time. Bye.